Hello everyone, I'm gonna show you how to set and get custom dates into date picker field. So first we're going to add the date picker field. There it is. So we're gonna put date test and we're gonna add on a spinner field just in order to use in the calculation code spinner. Okay, then we will add we will add a default date. So in this case, so we need to follow the date format. Also, you can change it if you want. The format is year, month, and day. In this case, save changes. We can check in the preview. There it is. But in my case, I will check in the page. There it is. So all works fine. Now we want to get the value. So one way is just inspect the HTML element. So just grab the field and then search the input and get the value. So how can you do that? So just first we need to know the ID of the field. So you just need to go to more tab and then here. You can see here the ID of the field, which is important. Copy, and then we need to enable the math calculation codes, and using, well, we will use the jQuery syntax. In this case, then wait, and then we need to search the input, and then we have to use the val method in order to get the value of the input, and we can store in a variable, temporal variable, date. Yes, and we can show it inside an alert, in a alert. Okay, save changes, then refresh the page. There it is. You can see that date is working fine. Now the other method is using the date library. So in this case, the date library that I'm using is this, the flatpickr. It has many examples. You can see here. You can see the calendar, the date time. Also, it has methods like this and events, okay, and many other things. Okay, in our case, we will use this date library in order to get the date. So how to do that? Well, we need to get the date instance. So how to get that is grab the field element, then search this class. You can see this class here. You can see this class. You can see there, and that contains the input, and this class, this div element store that date object of the date library. Okay, so that's what I'm doing here. And finally, we need to attach that data, all of this string. So now we can get the instance with that, the date instance. So once we have the instance of the date library, so we can use any method, any property of the date library. So for example, if I wanna get the current date, the selected date, so for example, I would use this. Wait, I will create that library. Now the instance selected dates. Now you get here the date object. So now we need to convert into string. So for that we need to parser for example each property one by one. For example, just get the year and toString, and then get the month and convert to a string, and the same for all of other options like the day, hours, minutes, seconds. Now we have all of these, all the day in a string, so we can show them. And so in this case, I'm gonna check getting the current, the selected date using date library. Save changes. Refresh the page. There it is. So getting the date, select the selected day using date library. So there it is. So you can get the current date using the date library. Now that we have the date instance, we can set a custom date. So how to do that? We can use one method of the flatpickr, which is the set date. So in the set date, you put the date and the trigger change. So we will use that in order to change the date of our field. So we have the date instance, and so date instance, and we will just use that method. So then we can, for example, set a custom date. For example, we have 2020, we'll change to 2030. So we will just save changes. We will refresh the page and it should change. So we will refresh the page. There it is. So the date has changed and works fine. And for example, if we want to change in a dynamical way, so for example, we can play it with a spinner. So for example, we will get the temp. We will get the value of the spinner. Here, the spinner value. We can get a value here. And once we have the value here, for example, temp spinner. Wait. So, for example, here is 5. So if it's 10, so we will change the date to 2040. Okay. Okay, save changes. And refresh the page. Okay, all is fine. So we will increase the spinner and look at that. It works fine. So we have changed the date according to the spinner value. So as you can see, you can customize your date using these methods. So I think that will help you a lot.